Let me ask you something real. You ever notice how everyone keeps feeding you the same line? Love yourself before you can love someone else? It's everywhere. Instagram posts, TikTok videos, self-help books, your therapist, your mom, your best friend at 2 a.m. All of them, all saying the same thing like it's the gospel truth. And on the surface, yeah, it sounds right, sounds deep, sounds wise. Like, how are you gonna pour from an empty cup, right? Gotta fill yourself up first before you can give to anyone else. Makes sense. Except for one tiny problem. It's complete garbage. And I'm not just saying that to be edgy. I'm saying it because psychology says something totally different. Because real human behavior says something totally different. Because your own life probably says something totally different, you've just never realized it. Let me break it down for you. Who is this advice actually for? Think about it. The person who already loves themselves? They don't need this advice. They're fine. They're out there living their best life. Dating, failing, trying, loving. They don't sit around saying, but do I love myself enough yet? So this advice is for people who don't love themselves. People who feel broken. People who feel unworthy. People who feel like something is missing inside them. People who think maybe if I just fix myself first, then I can finally be happy with someone else. And here's where it gets cruel. Because you're basically telling someone who already feels like they're not enough, that they're still not enough. Not yet. Not ready. Not worthy of love. Not until they pass some invisible, impossible test called loving yourself. That's not wisdom. That's a trap. Let me tell you a story. Not a fake story. A real one that happens every single day. There's a girl, let's call her Sarah. Sarah grew up with parents who didn't really see her. They fed her, clothed her, sure, but emotionally, nothing. She learned early that her feelings didn't matter, that her needs were a burden, that if she wanted love, she had to earn it. Be good, be quiet, be perfect. Fast forward, Sarah's 25, she's lonely, she wants a relationship, but she's been on this self-love hamster wheel for 3 years. Journals, meditations, affirmations. I am enough. I am worthy. I love myself. But she doesn't feel it. She's tried. God, she's tried. And every night she goes to bed thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just love myself? Everyone else can. Why am I broken? You see what happened? The advice didn't help her. The advice became another stick to beat herself with. Another reason to feel like a failure. Another wall between her and the love she desperately wants. And that's the dirty secret no one tells you. You cannot think your way into loving yourself. You cannot journal your way into it. You cannot affirm your way into it. You cannot meditate your way into it. Not if you've never experienced what love actually feels like. Because here's the thing about self-love, it's not something you just decide to have one morning. It's not a switch you flip. Self-love is a byproduct. It's something that grows when other things happen first. What things? Connection, being seen, being valued by someone else. Having someone look at you, not despite your broken parts, by including them, and say you matter to me. That's how humans actually learn to love themselves. Not in isolation. Not in a cave. Not through 300 hours of journaling. Through relationships. There's a whole branch of psychology called attachment theory. And here's what it says. The way you feel about yourself. It's built in relationship with others. When you're a baby, you learn you're lovable because your mom or dad looks at you like you're the most amazing thing in the world. You don't wake up one day and decide I'm worthy. You absorb it from someone who treats you like you're worthy. And if you've never got that as a kid, you don't need to be alone. You don't need to fix yourself first. You need someone else to show you. Slowly, patiently, gently. You need to see yourself reflected in someone's eyes and realize, oh, maybe I'm not garbage after all. Maybe I'm actually worth something. So telling someone like that to wait, not to stay alone until they magically love themselves, that's like telling someone who's never learned to swim to the other side of the pool, then I'll teach you how to float. Doesn't make any damn sense. Now look, I'm not saying relationships fix everything. I'm not saying find someone to complete you. That's a whole different kind of toxic. But I am saying this. The idea that you have to be a fully healed, fully self-loving, fully perfect person before you even deserve to be loved, that's not wisdom. That's fear dressed up as wisdom. That's people trying to protect themselves from getting hurt by pretending love is something you earn. It's not. Love is something you practice. And you can't practice alone. But let me tell you something that might actually piss you off. And I mean that as a compliment. Here it is. The people who preach love yourself first are usually the ones who are terrified of being hurt. Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me. Think about it. Who gives this advice the loudest? People who got burned. People who gave too much and got nothing back. People who've lost themselves in a relationship and swore never again, so now they have a new rule. Love yourself first. Don't depend on anyone. Be your own everything. And look, I get it. I really do. Getting hurt sucks. Losing yourself in someone else sucks. Giving everything and getting crumbs sucks. But here's the problem. The lesson you're supposed to learn from a bad relationship is not, don't love anyone else. And it's definitely not, stay alone until you're perfect. The lesson is, learn to love better. Learn to choose better. Learn to set boundaries. Learn to walk away when someone disrespects you. Not build a wall around your heart and call it self-love, because that's not self-love, that's self-protection. And self-protection feels safe, sure, but it also feels cold. It also feels lonely. It also guarantees that you'll never get hurt again, and also guarantees that you'll never really be loved again either. You can't have it both ways. Now let's talk about something even more uncomfortable. Some of you listening to this, you don't struggle to love yourself because you're broken. You struggle to love yourself because you've been told you're broken. By people who are supposed to love you. By a world that measures your worth by your productivity, your looks, your money, your followers. And here's the kicker. You cannot heal that kind of wound alone. I know that's not what the self-help industry wants you to hear. They want you to believe that it's all on you. That you just need to wake up earlier, meditate harder, journal deeper, manifest bigger. Why? Because if you believe it's all on you, you'll keep buying their courses, their books, their memberships. You'll keep chasing an impossible standard of enough that nobody ever reaches. And you'll stay stuck forever, always trying, never arriving. That's not healing. That's a business model. But let me take it deeper. Let me take it to a place most people won't go. The truth is, for some people, the love yourself first advice isn't just useless. It's dangerous. Because what if you've never been loved? Genuinely, consistently, unconditionally loved even once in your life? How are you supposed to know what love even feels like? How are you supposed to generate something inside yourself that you've never experienced from the outside? That's like asking someone who's never tasted sugar to imagine sweetness. Or someone who's never heard music to imagine a melody. Or someone who's lived in darkness their whole life to imagine the color red. You can't, and it's not your fault. So what do you actually need? You need to experience love. Even once, even a little, even imperfectly. You need someone to show you that you're not the monster your parents made you feel like. You need someone to stay when you're messy. You need someone to see your worst parts and not run away. And when that happens, something shifts inside you. Not because they completed you. Not because you're codependent now. But because you finally have evidence. Evidence that you are lovable. Evidence that you are not broken beyond repair. Evidence that maybe, just maybe, the voice in your head that says you're garbage ... is lying. And once you have that evidence, once you've actually experienced being loved, then self-love becomes possible. Not before. So stop telling people to love themselves first. That's backwards, that's cruel, that's setting them up to fail. Tell them to find someone who sees them, tell them to take a risk, tell them to let someone in even if it's scary. Even if it might hurt. Because here's the thing about love. You don't learn it alone. You learn it by doing it. By screwing it up. By getting your heart broken. By trying again. By letting someone see you cry. By apologizing. By forgiving. By staying when you want to run. By running when you should. Love is a verb. Not a feeling. Not a state of being. Not something you achieve in isolation. And the more you do it, the more you start to realize something. Maybe you're not as unlovable as you thought. Maybe you were never the problem. Maybe you just needed someone to show you. Now let me tell you the real reason this love yourself first advice is so popular already, because it lets people off the hook. Think about it. When you tell someone you gotta love yourself before anyone else can love you, what you're really saying is don't come to me with your brokenness. Fix yourself first. Then maybe we'll talk. It sounds caring. Sounds wise. Sounds deep. But underneath, it's rejection wearing a spiritual mask. Because real love doesn't wait until you're perfect. Real love shows up when you're a mess. Real love says, I see you, all of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I'm still here. That's what everyone actually wants. Not conditional love that requires a certain level of self-esteem first, but love that comes as a gift, not as a reward. And here's the thing. Sometimes, that love, even if it doesn't last, is the thing that heals you. You ever met someone who changed you? Someone who didn't fix you, but showed you something about yourself you couldn't see before? Someone who loved you in a way that made you think, oh, so this is what it's supposed to feel like. And even after they left, even after it ended, something stayed with you. Something shifted inside you. You started treating yourself a little differently. You started demanding a little more. You started walking away from people who made you feel small. That's what love does. It teaches you, not because you were ready, not because you loved yourself first, but because someone showed you what love looks like. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So let me ask you something. How's the love yourself first strategy working for you? Seriously. If you've been on that path for years and you're still stuck, still lonely, still waiting for some magical day when you finally feel ready, maybe it's time to try something different. Maybe it's time to admit that humans aren't meant to heal alone. Maybe it's time to take a risk, to let someone in, to let someone see you, even the messy parts, even the parts you're ashamed of. Not because they'll save you, not because they'll complete you, but because that's where the healing actually happens. In connection, in vulnerability, in the messy, imperfect, terrifying act of loving and being loved. Look, I'm not saying jump into a toxic relationship. I'm not saying find someone to use as your emotional crutch. I'm not saying abandon yourself for someone else. That's not love. That's codependency, and that's a whole different kind of hell. What I'm saying is this: stop using self-love as an excuse to stay small. Stop using it as a wall to hide behind. Stop pretending that waiting until you're ready is wisdom when really, it's just fear. Fear of getting hurt, fear of being rejected, fear of finding out that even when someone loves you, you still feel empty inside. Because that's the real terror, isn't it? What if you get the love you always wanted and you still don't feel okay? What if the problem was never about being loved by someone else? What if the problem is something deeper? See, that's the thing. The love yourself first advice makes you think that love from others is the reward. That once you fix yourself, then you'll finally deserve it. But that's backwards too. Love isn't a reward for being healed. Love is the thing that heals you. Slowly, imperfectly, painfully, beautifully. So here's my advice. And it's the opposite of everything you've heard. Don't wait. Don't wait until you love yourself. Don't wait until you're ready. Don't wait until you're perfect. Go find someone who sees you. Go find someone who stays. Go find someone who loves you not despite your brokenness, but including it. And while they're loving you, while they're showing you what it feels like to be chosen, you start to love yourself too. Not because you finally figured it out alone in your room with a journal, but because someone reflected back to you what you couldn't see, that you were always worth loving. You just forgot, and they reminded you. So forget the dumb advice. Forget love yourself first. Love yourself alongside loving someone else. Let love teach you. Let love break you open. Let love put you back together, differently. Because at the end of the day, the only real way to learn how to love yourself, is to let someone else love you first.